All right, welcome everybody.
Yeah.
We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act but a habit. Aristotle. So we're getting really deep today. But we are the patterns we are, right? We are who we are the actions that we do. That's what you end up, you add those up, and that's who you are. So tell me about your week. Anybody got anything good going on? What'd you do last week? What do you got this week?
This weekend we're supposed to go upstate.
So if you haven't been paying attention, all the Facebook meteorologists are talking about like this monster storm that's going to come through Saturday and Sunday. Is that what it is? Yeah.
It's a big 100-car accident on Michigan.
Yeah, big huge pile up, all the tractor trailers and so I saw one map today. I don't, these are models and they always change. And I have this theory. When they tell you there's a big storm coming, it's always disappointing if you like big storms. But it showed like 18 inches for Long Island and upstate New York. Yeah. And upstate by like Albany, Lake George, it was like 40, 42. Yeah. So we'll have 2 inches probably, but there's going to be a big storm this weekend. So keep that in mind because the news of a big storm, will keep people from being interested in going to open houses, right? So it doesn't mean you can't have one, but I would probably, if I like Rich with the new houses, if you're thinking of an open house this weekend, I would wait until like Wednesday afternoon to make the decision.
Yeah, exactly. My dad is going to many homes, so
All right.
taking the weekend off. Yeah,
There you go. Schedule them all.
Yeah, exactly.
I was in Great Wolf Lodge and Sunday and Monday with the kids and my wife, which is not fun, but they enjoyed it.
Renovated rooms now though, with like the little.
They made it bigger the last time I was there was like 8 years ago, and they made it bigger, which I didn't like. You had to walk through one hotel to get to our hotel, but it was nice room. Pennsylvania, Poconos.
Yeah.
2 hours there, almost just shy of 3 coming home, so it's all right. What you do for your daughter. If my sons were asking, I would have just said no, we're not going. But because my daughter asked you, oh yeah, we could go. Can't wait. Ugh. Yeah, that's what happens. I told my sons once, which does not make me a great dad, but I said, if you keep talking to your sister that way, I love you both. You keep talking to your sister that way, I'm going to punch you in your face.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, she comes first. They're boys, they'll deal. Scavoni's snapshot, market clarity, perspective, motivation. So make sure you are registered. How do you do that? With the QR code. That is Thursday, the 29th. You're getting Bill Scavoni, who is the president of Weichert, and then you have Bill Hassel, who's the president of Weichert Affiliates, which is our side of things. So the two Bills. And whatever. So that's the 29th at 2. Great job, Sal. Sal had his closing over at 32 Nostrand last week, and then the next day, 28 Lockwood. So he sold one, got the buyer into the next house. So that was a good one. Great job. And then we all saw he went out and bought a brand new, I don't know if it was brand new, but a new Toyota, I think it was.
Yes.
Land Cruiser, 4Runner. Yeah, same kind of thing.
Cute.
Nice.
4Runner.
My sold 492 Nassau Boulevard in Williston Park. Jared has a new listing, 283 Washington Avenue in Amityville. That's a cottage, really. We have it listed as a cape. There is a lofted kind of bedroom up on the second floor, but the main floor, you got 2 bedrooms, bathroom, eating kitchen, living room, a little staircase up to the 3rd bedroom upstairs. It's like a kid's room. Maybe. I would tell them about it. And then the basement is finished, and it's set up as it's really a studio apartment, but they put a wall up, so now you have a bedroom that's like 6 by 8. That wall should come down and just make it a studio or as a finished basement, not a big house. And then you have a detached 1.5 car garage on a fair sized lot. So look, it's $399. Is it going to be amazing? No. Is this back in like the 80s?
That much monthly on a rental now. So
You go rent a 2-bedroom apartment, it might be this much. Absolutely. Back in the 80s and early 2000s, really before the internet with real estate, this would have been the house that got advertised in every penny saver and in the Newsday Home section as like uh, the cheap house. And the brokers back then would have a rule: you weren't allowed to sell it. So imagine how scammy all these companies must have been. You weren't allowed to sell. Why wouldn't they let an agent sell that house? In fact, they'd say, if you sell this house before we have another one the same price, you're going to get fired. Why wouldn't it was a draw? This is where they got the buyer leads from. So you get a tremendous number of buyer leads on the 399 house that back then would have been like 79,000 or something, 69,000. And then you brought them to it. And what happened when they saw this house? It's not great. It's beat up. This. Well, look, for only another, let's use today's numbers. For only another $500 a month, I can get you into something that's like all nice inside. You want to see that? In fact, what did they do back then? They already had the appointment to show it. It's 2 blocks away. Let's go there now. And they bring them over there, and that house would be like, wow, this house is actually really great. And then they'd say, there's one more I think we should look at. No,
The medium?
no, the expensive one.
So-
Then they bring them to the really overpriced house. So you start out at the turd.
Yeah.
You go to the one that's kind of perfect for them at a reasonable price, and then you bring them to the co-op in Great Neck. You bring them to the place that's just way overpriced, and the seller won't reduce. What did the third house do to the second one? It solidified that is the right decision, because they're leaving the second one. Are we really about to do this? Back then, they showed you 3 houses, and you didn't know what else was on the market. You had no idea if you were getting scammed or not. So you went to the first one, the turd, that you called on, that you really wanted to see because it was a great price. You went to the next one that might be priced at $599. That's really nice, and you can move right in. You're like, that seems awesome. And I didn't realize it was only 500 more a month. Like, we could do that. Then you go to the third one that's priced at $749. And what do the people say when they walk into that one? We can't afford that. They made the offer on the second one. I'm not telling you to do any of that. Plus, it probably wouldn't stand up. The internet exists. They can see what else is out there. Should you be posting this on your KV Core as boosting this? Should you be sending this out to your database? Should you be sharing this house on Facebook? Yes to all the above. How many houses do you think are in Suffolk County or Long Island in general under 400,000? And it is. You could live in that house. It works. There's people living in there. There are not many. There are not many. It'll qualify for traditional financing. So you should really be pushing this. Now, what's going to happen? If you sell it, you won't get fired. You're allowed to sell this house. The seller would like us to sell this house. I do think it might go for like $439 or something. But now you have 3, 4, 5 buyer leads that you can sell something else to, right? And that's the goal. If you could generate good, strong buyer leads right now, Maria, you have a list of 10, right? If you have 2 people come look at this house that are ready, they're hot, they look at this like, yep, not for us, but this is my budget. It's a good budget. You might be changing the order of your 10.
I sent it out to my.
There you go. Send it out some more.
Did I hear back from her? No.
That's all right. That's all right. Sale pending. We have some stuff in contract. 17 Evans Avenue in Farmingdale. That is now fully signed. That one took forever. They had some title stuff going on. And 3 Williams Avenue in Amityville. That's a house that Rich bought. We had listed for a very long time. The sellers could not get their price.
It's low too, right?
What he paid for it?
Didn't we-
Something like that. And it had a building lot, which was not as simple to do as we had hoped, but not all that difficult either. This house, an old farmhouse, told you a little bit of the story. I'm sure when Rich bought this, he wasn't 100% sure it was going to work out, and it turned out to be pretty great. By the way, he never think, I don't know, this one looks bad. And it's like,
I got a lot of phone calls and a lot of leads actually on that.
look, there aren't many houses on Long Island that are going to be 3 bedrooms. It's 2 baths there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is there a bathroom on the second floor?
Yes.
Okay. Oh yeah, the closet. So 3 bedroom, 2 bath, colonial. Not a huge house, but all redone. Nice. Decent yard actually for a house that got subdivided. Where you find that for $659?
It's got the nice covered patio, like in the
Yeah.
front with all the glass room.
So Use those, some listings are really good for getting buyers. Houses like this one are good for getting buyers. A house like this one might actually be good for getting listings. Why? 812 for that? It's just the ranch. It's a little bigger actually, but people don't always know that. So some are going to help you get more listings. Others are going to help you get more buyers.
And I send out the Liker pending to the WhatsApp, so
Yep.
everybody can use those
You should be.
pending sales for their own market.
House like this, you probably want to get a sale pending on as soon as it goes pending, right? As soon as it comes off the market, get the sale pending. Why? So you can go hit the neighborhood and let everyone know. Did you notice the house is now pending? House like this one, a house like that one, you might not put the pending up because you're going to get buyer leads out of it. I don't think a lot of sellers will look at you. Wow, Maria, you have that listing of that turd of a house. You're my agent, right? That's not like it's not drawing more sellers. Evans might, Williams might actually, right? So that could go either way. But do stuff on purpose, make decisions on it. Make sure you're in the WhatsApp group. If you're not, at the very least, saving the image. In fact, you don't even have to save it. You could copy it right out of WhatsApp, go into your Facebook, double click in the post, it pops up in there, and hit submit. If you're not at least doing some of that stuff, you got to start doing that. It's very easy. It takes 10 seconds. You're not misleading anyone. You work for the company that was involved in that sale. If you get a listing and have no idea what to do, are we going to still be able to get that house sold? Yeah, we'll tell you what to do. So you were part of that. Weiger for life. Make sure you are reaching out to people, letting them know, hey, I work in real estate for a great company. I know they're looking for some agents. I'd love to set you up with a meeting with the manager. Sal, your old cop friends. Jared and I were talking to somebody who's a city cop. Is he retired, Jared? Andy? Current cop. There's a whole bunch of them working in one company next to him. And they said, this place is a mess, but we just do whatever we want. So it reminded me that police officers make great real estate agents. Well, if you bring some people in, that might be an extra $3,000 a year that you're getting. How much of your MLS dues if you bring one person in? Nothing, right? You have no cost now. You're getting that covered. Market absorption. This is what I expected to see, right? We're starting to see things look a little wonky. They still look a little wonky, but this, I think, is a more accurate reflection of what's going on. 12 houses on the market, which means kind of like whatever was on there now is off. 7 in contract in the last 30 days, 1.7 months supply of housing. Days on market's a bit higher. I think some expensive houses probably sold. And probably what was happening coming out of the holidays, did the sellers sign contracts in between December 22nd and January 5th? Probably not. They're never fast to sign contracts. The buyers, you expect like the next day. Attorneys are away, they're away, I'm traveling, I don't want to be. Come in next week. So average under contract price. So this is the list price of those 7 houses on average was $799. Massapequa, 4.3 month supply of houses. Oh no,
Yeah.
4.3. Days on market, 35. And just under 1 million. Manorville, 11 month supply of housing. Well, I'm driving to Manorville for $830 if I could just live in Massapequa for $949 probably. Manorville's different though. It's different out there. They had for a long time a major tax problem out there. I forget what had happened, but there was some kind of major tax complication back in the mid 2000s. Mineola, 1.2 month supply of housing for $799. So if you had a buyer who had a good budget, but they have a low down payment, they're only got 5% down, they could spend $800,000-$900,000. You got to look at neighborhoods with the higher absorption rates, right? Probably not going to be able to compete in Mineola and maybe not even Farmingdale. So you also want to look at the micro markets. Is demand in Amityville going to be higher on the $399 house than it was going to be on the $649 house?
Yeah.
How many are there? 1. How many buyers would be willing to buy a house for $400,000? A lot. How many houses are going to be priced at $649 and $699? What was the price at Williams? $659. How many houses are going to be priced at $659 or give or take? A handful. How many buyers are there for those houses? A handful. So it's going to be a different situation in those two markets. Now go in Amityville for 749. Is that house for 749 going to have multiple offers? Probably not. Is it going to sell in a weekend? Probably not. We know that from the house, the co-op in Glen Cove,
Great Neck.
Great Neck. I get those two confused all the time. In Great Neck, there's not a lot of buyers for that, is there? But if it was priced at 240, it'd be a ton of buyers. So that you have these micro markets. If you think of Farmingdale, a house priced for $599 in Farmingdale, how many people show up to that open house that weekend? 30 groups. How many offers do you have on it? 20. How much over ask does it go for? 5% over ask or more. Now, the same town, Farmingdale, you have a beautiful expanded ranch for $899. How many people come into that first open house? 8 groups, tops. 4 of them don't even answer, give you a fake phone number. Out of the other 4, none of them make an offer. How many more weeks or months are going to go by before you finally get? Now, let's say it's better than those other houses, but it might take 2 months, 3 months before you get an offer, a good offer, a real offer. And you're asking, what did I say, $899? What are you probably going to get for it? $879, $885, somewhere in there, right? You're going to have to negotiate. It's a very different market depending on what your bracket is. So if you're heading over to a listing, a potential listing, and you're thinking it's probably about a $700,000 house, you want to know the market absorption rate for houses priced between 675 and 7.25. Very different situation than 100,000 over. So how do you do that? How do you figure out market absorption rate? You're going to go into MLS. Does this not look familiar to anybody? All right, good. We're okay. Active. I would also say choose single family homes if that's the type of house you're looking at. One thing that's very different, I'm still getting used to remembering with this MLS versus the last one, is it's going to give you condos and co-ops as well.
Click in the single family.
So check that out. You can change your architectural style. Our split's going to have a very different buyer demand and supply than ranches, than capes, than colonials, right? They could be big differences in house type. What do you think's the least attractive style house? Like, what do you think to buyers? I mean, you think splits are the least?
No, stairs or the high ranch.
I think it's capes too. I think people you find people who love splits. You find most people love colonials. Capes are tight.
Yeah.
Look,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
here's what we got though. We got some people saying capes, some people think splits because there's too many steps, and capes you can do a lot. It all depends. Nobody likes back to front splits. Nobody does. So choose what makes sense. What is comparable? Would you only choose splits? No, I might choose ranches and colonials too, but maybe I exclude capes. You get the point. Put in your price range. You don't have to put the zeros or it gets all wonky because they're already chosen. So in this case, 651 to 850, somewhere in between there. In Massapequa Park. Pending the last 30 days. 0 minus 30, 0-30, 0 minus today, minus 30 days. Hit statistics. So you're not going to hit, you hit submit, you get the results. Instead of clicking in these and doing the math on your own, just click stats. And that's going to be tabular, which is a table instead of a graph. Here's your details. We're going to look at the average. So you got minimum, the lowest, maximum, the highest, median. What's the difference between median and average? Who here remembers from probably 9th grade math, 8th grade maybe?
3 of them, average is 3 added and divided by 3.
Median is you choose the middle one in the chart. Will that be the average? No, average is when you add them all up and average them, divide it by the number. Median is not really something we use much in real estate. Median is more to figure out, you might have a couple really low price listings, But when you kind of eliminate those, or maybe eliminate the high, you kind of get more of a what's
Middle ground,
more
yeah.
typical. We're not going to use that. We just use the average. So average is 4 bedrooms, 2 baths. List price $749. Days on market on average 39 days to go into pending. So you could of course do different price points, 0 to 650, 650 to 850, 850 to a million, over a million, whatever you think might make the most sense. You need the active listings, how many are actually active, and then you're going to pull under contract. So to find the active, you should all know how to do this. You do the same thing, but instead of choosing pending, you choose active. And then you get this number, 11, you just write that down. That's how many are active. Then you divide. Everybody knows that, right? You take how many are active. I think it was 22, 11 in the last 30 days. 22 by 11 is 2. That's your month's supply of housing. Doors presentations, they're picking up. Sellers are starting to think about doing something. Office training coming up. Wednesday webinars, we have our schedule now for the rest of the month. Generating seller leads. If you're not taking that one, you're crazy. That's tomorrow. Yep. And boxbrownie.com, dashboard deep dive, work smarter in 2026. I don't know what that even refers to myself. Dashboard makes me think it has something to do with my Weichert. Box Brownie maybe is a something they offered through it. What training what do you want to learn more about? Lead generation, marketing, luxury homes, social media tips. What is it that you guys are all hoping to get out of the meetings? Lead gen, all the above? Lorraine? Okay. Everything. Name one. Well, there's a lot of weeks. Is there anything, these are the obvious ones. Is there anything not on here you're like, I really wish I knew more about
KB4,
more of my Weichert stuff?
how to use it,
All right.
benefit. Make things simple. If it's hard figures, it sounds like.
If you ever become a master at my Weichert where you know it forward and back
Then
with
just do that as your
no
job.
separation, you probably spent too much time learning it. Like once you know how to use something, there's very few programs do you ever try to learn everything about. There are things in Facebook that you can do in Facebook that none of us know how to do. Because you know how to use it for what you do, which is I want to look at my friends' kids' pictures. I want to see what events are coming up. Some people are big on buying and selling things on Facebook. My wife puts out toys on the stoop, and then people leave us like $3 in the mailbox. I don't get it. But there are things you do on Facebook that you know how to do because that's what you're interested in. You're not interested in other things, so you never learn it. If you were, you'd figure it out. And I look at my Weichert the same way. Use it for the things you need it for and that you have the most interest in. Hey, I want to do this. There are going to be things that you know it can do or you see that it can do. And you want to, hey, I should be doing that. I want to do that. Teach me how to do it. We'll figure it out. But don't feel like you need to know. You don't have to be a master of the universe. I like to say, perfect's the enemy of great. If you're using my Weichert every day for lead generation, that's great. It doesn't matter that you're not perfect at my Weichert.
Jared taught me how to do a newsletter, and I did my first
There you go.
newsletter and sent it mass email to the whole entire thing. So
And we get benefit of doing the template.
now the template I made, I just have to go and plug in new material, everything's set up. It's got my header and my signature, and then certain things will stay. And then
So-
if I want to update, I'll just plug new picture and a new article. And that KCM, is that what it's called? Did you guys see that? What's that? They have a lot of content. You
Yep.
can copy and paste it right into this newsletter and send it out once a month. So.
Did it run, speaking of KCM, you probably got an email from LIBOR, then I forwarded it all to you last week. Did everyone sign up for the free account?
Yes,
So if you didn't look for that.
Lorraine did, I'm sure. What is it?
KCM, Keeping Current Matters. They have a newsletter you could sign up for and a free account, I should say, so you could have access to all their info. It came from LIBOR, but look for Jared's email last week.
Not all their info, but enough that it's very useful and you could schedule, you can link it up to your social media and schedule posts similar to Engage 121, but the content is
It's better.
it's more data driven and something that a homeowner or a home buyer would be very interested in seeing.
Office inventory, Gale Grace available. There's two others there that are sort of hidden inventory. Boxwood Drive available. Great Neck available. Caroline Avenue is TOM. That's going into contract. 28 Stratford Green rental available. Dubois. Is that available?
There's an offer in on it.
Offer in on that. They tend to get put together. 94 Conklin gone. Half signed. I think contract's out on that one. Probably half signed already. They were pretty motivated. Shawnee in Comac, multiple offers. They are picking one today. So today will be the it should go TOM today. 16 Cape Road, Amity Harbor, that's available, the rental, waterfront rental. And Washington Avenue in Amityville is available. I think there was an open house there this weekend. We'll get to that in a second. And there's a bunch of rentals. If you have anybody looking for a rental, we have them. Washington, Jared, how'd that go this weekend?
There's 40 separate groups though.
40 groups at an open house over 2 hours.
How'd you call it? And
It's not a big house either. That is getting 40 groups in and out of that house is not. I can imagine everybody trying to go upstairs at the same time. Anyway, a lot of buyer leads there. Any offers yet?
There's one offer, supposedly a lot more coming, but you know, that type of house, it's attractive for what? The price, right?
yeah.
And then
it's gonna take
people walk through and they see it and they realize how small it is and probably decide against it. Because 40, you know, you have 40 groups come through an open house. On a typical house, how many offers you think you should get? 10 maybe?
At least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You might get 5 or 6.
Exactly, that us.
It's over by kind of by the cemeteries over there. So you know the North Amityville Firehouse? You would go east from 110 along the firehouse. You go up about a half mile, you make a left. So it's this sort of self-contained. There's only, I think, one road in there,
It's a nice.
and then there's all dead ends off that one road. So it's a really nice area. It was a really nice section of North Amityville over there. Maybe think of this guy, Tim something, bought this house in Bethpage. He had to choose between two houses. And he bought this little cape. If you're familiar with Bethpage, they have some really little capes. They're only like
Like the Amityville case.
22 feet deep by like 24 feet wide. They're two tiny bedrooms, tiny kitchen, tiny living room. And then it's a cape. So you have 2 little rooms upstairs and a basement. And he bought this house. He chose this one because it was cheaper. Taxes were low. It was like 20 grand cheaper. And he made a pure dollars and cents decision to buy this little house. Like could happen then, the listing agent screwed up probably on purpose the taxes, what the taxes were. So they were actually like $2,000 more because it was without the star or whatever. So he then found out we were at A and B at the time, Cameron. I don't know if you were there yet. Tom Fink maybe. So he realizes my payment, because he was given 2 payments for this house or that house. He chose the one that was going to be like $200 less a month. The other house was much bigger. It was like a wider cape, probably 35 feet wide, so huge difference, and had like a rear dormer. And he realized at closing, the smaller house, which was much smaller, no, but it was only going to be like $75 a month cheaper than the bigger house. He realized he made a huge mistake. And that house on Washington does become a little bit of a trap for people. There is somebody who's going to buy that simply because it's really cheap. But it's going to be too small for them. And there's a cost to that. You don't realize it in a spreadsheet. And this is what accountants and even lawyers never quite understand, that there is a human cost to buying the wrong house, isn't there? So I bought this house because it's really cheap. Yeah, but you and your wife now scream at each other because there's no way to get away from each other, or the kids are always fighting, and now I'm stressed out, and that keeps me from getting the promotion at work. You know, there are things that just happen when you're not living in the right size house. So I think about that guy, and I use him a lot. he was pissed. It was ugly. There's also now this has got to be at least 10 years ago. Yeah, something like that. And if he law of averages says they might be getting ready to sell that house, he's not going to use us. Uh, which house is going to sell for more money now? Probably that bigger one, right? So if they both went up 40% in value, the one that was more expensive got more equity, right? There's more equity in that house than the smaller one. So did he make a smart financial decision? Now, if that was all he could do, I still think it's better to own a house that's a little too small than rent. There's a huge human element to renting and the landlord telling you after 18 months and your kids are in school, oh, sorry, I got to sell the house, you got to move. None of that's great either. But Washington's that kind of house. Anyway, they're going to end up with offers. Someone's going to buy it and move in and be like, this house is tiny. This house is tiny.
I don't know. Even on home, feel like gotta pay something.
That's a whole nother conversation. So, Shawnee Lane, very busy this weekend. People yelling at Christine. So the seller had her hold off all presentations of offers until today, which means there were people for the last 12 days who have made offers and seen the house that weren't getting an answer. I don't know. I probably would have did it slightly different, but what were they trying to make sure would happen? They'd get enough showings. It's a very hot house. So no matter what you do, whether you're the lowest price or a relatively low price, you could do what you want. How did the open house go at West Mill? I know you had an offer. Two people come. Hey, that's a huge increase.
One
It should.
It's like 10 minutes after we started, stayed to the end.
Oh, really? You stay here another 10 minutes, you're gonna have to buy the house. Ha ha ha! No, I'm kind of serious. Rich, how'd you do with Gail Grace?
No offers yet.
Rooms are still small, no matter how many times you show it. It's a difficult house.
That's why we're putting the other model up.
Yeah.
For a while.
When is he starting the construction of the other of
It's
the?
already dug out.
Okay, so
the
now
backhoe was there.
what'll happen is you'll sell. This will be the last one sold
The Sheffield, the Sheffield model sells before
Yep.
it gets put up. It's
Yeah.
the most popular model by far.
So if you have some new construction people, you bring them to this one, they go, I don't know, it feels kind of small. Well, great news. The hole you see next door to,
Exactly.
you could buy that. 15 Dubois,
Good, got them all.
offer on it. Awesome. That one's actually complete, right?
Yeah,
Built and done.
it had the alarm had a wire cross, so the entire open house you just hear this low humming the entire time. So I had to explain to like every other person that came in, the electrician's coming by. Yes, we know that there's a humming right there in the, but
I bring speakers to my vacant houses. I bring a Bluetooth speaker. I
on
can't.
the MacBook, but it wasn't that.
No, it won't be loud enough out of the laptop. No.
It wasn't enough.
To show Rich's rental house in Iceland the other day. And the freaking carbon dioxide detector kept going off and I'm looking at it, I'm pushing the buttons and it's saying stuff on it. Like, am I dying here? The window, whatever.
Yeah.
I call them up like, let's crack the window, but I got it to stop before they got there, cause I was like, I wanna tell people, yeah, the carbon dioxide detector going.
Yeah, that's usually a hard no on that.
Outside.
Hardwired, but I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure.
I had mine go. I have a hardwire. It's only 3 years old, and it kept going off. And they're all daisy chains, so if one goes off, they all go off. And it kept saying smoke, fire. So I go upstairs, and the kids are going to bed. I'm walking around. I'm like, there's no smoke. I reset the button first, and then I looked for the fire. Real smart.
'Cause it's-
And then a couple minutes later, it's going off again. Smoke, fire, carbon. I'm like, this thing is just, it's messed up. It's broken. I don't have carbon and there's no smoke and none of the kids are falling asleep. So it ain't carbon monoxide. So I reset it. I'm like, what the hell can I, what, thinking maybe it's the forced air hitting it. So I reset it again. And then the third time I'm trying to rip it off. I cut my finger jumping up, trying to pull the thing down. And then none of the kids would go to bed because they were all afraid. So I don't know. These permanent ones with the 10-year batteries don't seem to be as permanent as they told us. Expired listings. Something we got to be thinking about. So the first week of 2026, there are 170,000 expired listings in the country nationwide. If you assume an average nationwide price of $415,000, that's 71 billion in sales volume. So that is a huge market. So the first weeks of 2026, there's a big opportunity. So this is the amount of expired or canceled listings basically at the end of the year or at the beginning of the year.
Is that because people just say through 12/31?
Yes. Yep. So in a forecast, it's about 165,000 of them would have just expired. That's according to Redex. So from expired to sold, listing expires today. Usually there's about on average 36 days go by before the home is relisted. Then about 75 days after that, the house is sold. Why do you think it expired and then was able to sell in 3.5, 4 months? Probably pricing. We could tell you from experience, there are plenty of agents or sellers that are told by their agent, we're overpriced, we need to reduce. Why does the seller refuse to do that with the person they're listed with? It could be.
They just want to get what they want. They're being serious about selling, or they think they know better.
And they force them so that.
You son of a b told me my house was worth 600,000. So I listed with you over the other people because they all told me 550. Now, 2 months into the listing, you had one open house. You're telling me it's overpriced, I should list at 550. I would have never listed with you if you told me 550 because I think the other people were better. Well, there's only 2 months left in my listing. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm firm on price. I'm not lowering. Jared and I have spoken to sellers who call. If they call you before they expire, you can have that conversation. You can't solicit them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know my house is overpriced, but I'm not relisting with that guy. I'm not reducing the price until it's expired. So if I list with you next, I'm going to price it at 550. Why do they wait 36 days?
They need to decompress.
There might be a week or two of decompression. Then they call and say, okay, Gina, I'm ready to list. We call the photographer, we do our marketing, and it goes on the market 36 days later, on average.
Just so everyone's aware, you're not allowed to solicit active listings, right? But what Joseph just said is, if someone seeks you out and asks for your advice, you can absolutely work with them, advise them, do the whole thing. You're allowed to work with them.
Then it sells, right? So we got the timeline. Sellers who relisted with a different agent, 54% of those houses sell. Sellers who stay with the same agent, only 36% of those houses sell. Is this a slide I might print out and have with me as I drive around talking to, expired listings? Absolutely.
The next slide too.
Sellers who switch agents sell faster once they're back on the market. 74 days if they choose a new agent, 90 if they stay with the same agent. So it's less likely to sell, and if it actually does, it takes longer to sell. Why do you think that might be? What are some of the disadvantages of staying with the same agent?
Like they market it the way they.
Everything kind of stays the same. It's a little stale.
Description.
It's a little stale.
No change, no change.
It's showing that it's market.
Days on market. Look, when we're talking to our sellers, we try to downplay that. But the fact is, if you list with a new agent, it's going to have a new days on market. Zillow might still pick up the other ones, but everywhere else will show as fresh. What about the agent's feelings about the house? When you have a listing for 6 months and they relist with you, does that feel like an exciting opportunity? Not really. They just keep doing. I'm going to keep doing. I'll have my open houses once a month. I'll show it when someone calls. I'll post another social media. But it's just one of my listings. When you get a brand new listing, that first month, is that an exciting opportunity? Yeah. creatively. You got, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Or, you know what I want to have at the open house? I want to have this. I really want to have that neighborhood sheet. I want to highlight the park down the street. You're doing all this new stuff. So some of it is also the excitement of the agent. If you walk into a house and the agent's like, all right, go take a look around. And you walk into a house, the agent's like, wow, you got to come see. You got to see this basement. It's amazing. It's got like this great bar and it's, smells great. Whatever. That's more of an exciting showing. What's that?
Then come down to the.
Come down to the bar. I'll make you a drink. Yeah, you get them 2 drinks. You have somebody lock the basement door upstairs and you can't leave till you sign. It's kind of like how the Giants sign their coaches, or didn't. Relisting at a higher price. So the sale probability, it goes up, but I'm sorry. If you list at a higher price, you have a 47% chance of, my brain isn't working properly.
Pricing strategy.
Yes. The sale probability, if you relist at different price points, if you relist at a higher price, you have about a 48% chance of selling on an expired house. If you relist at the same price, you have about a 42% chance of selling. If you relist at a lower price, you have about a 45% chance of selling. Why was my brain having trouble picking that up?
Doesn't sound like it makes sense.
Shouldn't make any sense. It shouldn't make any sense. Wait, it was out there at this price for 3, 6, 9, 12 months. You raise the price and then it has a higher chance of selling? Yes.
People start thinking, oh, it's going to keep going up. Let me get it.
Could be. The market probably has changed too. All that fresh marketing does matter, doesn't it? There might have also been a couple things that had to get taken care of. Hey, the first thing I notice when I come in my house, and I think it's a major turnoff for buyers, the rug in the living room is really beyond its life, right? What if we have somebody come in, put in some vinyl floors in the living room, paint the kitchen? I think the house will show really well. I know there's a cost in that, about $3,000, but you're here listed at $659. I'm going to list it at $675. I believe that'd be at least a break even, and we'll be able to get the house sold faster. Is that house going to sell? Have a higher probability of selling even at the higher price? Sure. This is just continuation of the same. Of the 2.5 million listings that have expired in 2025, that did expire in 2025, 1.3 million of them, more than half, still haven't relisted. That's 600 billion in untapped potential sales volume. Delistings as a share of inventory hit a decade high. So when a delisting is when a home that was listed for sale comes off the market before it sells. So they take it off and it goes back on. So what are we talking about? Delistings. These are people who expired last year. Nearly half of delistings were purchased within the last 5 years. So people bought their home, sky high prices, pandemic frenzy. They remember a seller's market. They remember what it was like for them. So they're hesitant to yield to buyers who want to negotiate the price or ask for concessions. Is this a major thing we're dealing with on Long Island? Not really. Prices still high, right? There's plenty of buyers to go around. Is this a major problem in Florida? Yes, big time. Because they're not at those prices. And basically, sellers have made a decision. Everybody thought the Florida market was going to crash in price, and it has come down. It's settled down. A lot of inventory came off the market. You don't have houses that have been listed for 2 years on the market. They just say, oh, I guess we're stuck here. We'll stay. It's been a little while since a hurricane. Maybe it's not so bad here. But it could be they overpriced. Glen Cove, Great Neck. What? We're in this market's so hot. It's smarter now. Even though houses might sell for a lot of money and there might be a lot of interest for a lot of houses, the market is not irrational like it was in 2020, right? They're not going to just buy it because it's on the market. Expired listings. What is your opportunity? Have materials ready. We have the expired listing brochure. You could order that. Expired listing presentation is a personalized document available for your sellers, potential sellers. Have your My market report for the area, a listing flyer, brochure sample. Show them your marketing. When an average agent takes a listing, how much of their work are they sharing with the client? Very little, right? The seller probably has to call and ask for updates. Do you know that most agents don't even give the seller an update after the open house? They just lock up and leave. I don't know how they get away with it because I'm like 302 and the person's already asking me like, how'd we do? But even if they give them an update, it's usually something like, we did good. I'll let you know, a couple people. When you can show the seller, this is the marketing I'm doing electronically through digital sources. This is the marketing I'm doing locally. When you could show them that, is that going to be more information than they probably ever had seen? Even if the agent was doing a lot of that stuff, they weren't sharing their results, were they? Your price trend analysis, have it ready to go. Can you do a PTA on a house you've never been in? If it was on MLS, you can. You have a lot of pictures, probably hopefully a Kubicasa or on a floor plan. You could do that. You have enough information. Create and save an MLS search for expired listings. These are the things you should be doing. If you're not doing them today, you should be putting in your calendar. I think I have time to do this tomorrow morning. I'm going to set this up. So have the search for expired listings in the areas you want to work. All in Nassau County, great. All of Suffolk and Nassau, great. When you find the expired, you want to call them, introduce yourself, offer the great news about the market, and close for an appointment. After the call, send a text message. You might be talking to their voicemail, so the text message is even more important. Besides a text message, what's a similar way of doing that will be more effective?
My white girl started on.
All that stuff, yes. We're going to get that in a second. Hey, Tom, just left you a voicemail. Just want to say hi. My name is Joe Garcia from Weigert Realtors. I left you a bunch of information about, the market. I see your house at 23 Main didn't sell. I have some great news for you. Hope to talk to you soon. Right? If you get a selfie video from somebody, you're probably going to want to see what it says. Add them to My Weigert as an expired opportunity, and then schedule a task reminder. Also, be proactive and consistent. Stop to deliver your customized seller information packet. Pop by. Call or text them to follow up and schedule an appointment. Invite them to your open houses that are happening over the next week. If you're not having one, invite them to somebody else's. You don't have to tell, if they're going to come, guess what, Rich? I'm just going to hang out. I think I have a client meeting. I'm going to be there for 2 hours. I'll bring music. Right? Okay, whatever. I will sit upstairs and go,
Yeah. House is still going contract. I'll put an offer on it.
Provide links to properties and neighborhood videos. Utilize video testimonials from your seller clients, which hopefully you got at closing. Have your listing presentation, your listing paperwork ready to go. When you show up, have everything you need to complete the job. Some sellers are going to sign with the first person they talk to. That's why there are plenty of a lot of agents who make this a primary source of their business. Go into the office about 7:30 in the morning. They usually use Red X or something similar. And by 8:01 in the morning, they're making calls. They believe if I could be the first one on the phone with that seller before they go to work, I can make the appointment for this afternoon when they get home, and I'm not leaving there without listing paperwork. Some sellers are going to operate that way. The minute that it expires, they're going to sign with somebody new, either with the same agent or they might be open to at least exploring you. Others are going to wait about how many days? 2-3 weeks, really, because by the time you sign it up or whatever, but a month. So there's 2 ways to look at it, and they're both correct, and they're both what you need to do. You have to be the first one to call them and the last one to keep following up. A lot of agents are going to call expireds when? First day or 2. How many of them are calling 34 days later? Maybe one's left. And that's who they're going to sign with. Where do you find your keys when you can't find them? The last place you looked. Why are they always the last place you looked? Because you found them and stopped looking, right? You kept looking for your keys until you found them. You should keep following up with an expired until they list with you or someone else. That's on average 36 days. So if you look at the bracket, that's anywhere from 1 day to 2 or 3 months. Be the last place they find you, right? Like the Keys. Hi, hi, is this John? Reason for my call today is because your home came up this morning as an expired in the MLS. Is your home currently listed for sale? If they say yes, I relisted. I'm just waiting on I don't know why the agent didn't put it up yet. Great. Have a great day. Hopefully I have some buyers for you in the future. Good luck. No. Why haven't you relisted your home yet? Do you have any plans to put it back on the market? Reason for my call today is I specialize in properties just like yours that didn't sell first time around. I have a unique process for identifying and predicting the saleability of a home. Would be excited to meet with you. Talk to you about the techniques I use to sell homes. Plus, I can help you identify why your home didn't sell.
You know what, Joe? That sounds great, but I'm just gonna pause right now. It's a little busy and I gotta evaluate with my wife about what I want to do.
You should. I think that's a great idea. After a situation like this, it really is good to just take a little time to decompress and breathe. Part of that process of decompressing and breathing is really, though, understanding what adjustments you might need to make over the next week, month, 6 months, or a couple of years, however long it takes you to decide what to do. And part of my process is identifying those reasons it didn't sell. And it's usually not price, so that you don't make that same mistake in the future. And when you do come back on the market, whenever that is, it sells in like a weekend or two. How's today around 5, 6 o'clock? Is your wife usually home then? I can meet with you both.
That sounds great. You're the second call I've gotten. My phone's ringing right now. I just need to pause.
No, absolutely. You should definitely pause. Would this weekend be better, you think, then?
Maybe, but I can't confirm it.
Well, listen, weekends are always tough between the kids and all the work stuff. I'm going to put you in for Saturday around 10:30 in the morning. I think that should work for all of us. And then after you have a chance to talk to your wife today, tomorrow, we can always adjust it. I'm going to send you a text also so you have my information. But can I just put in my book to hold open Saturday at 10:30 in the morning?
If you want to.
Sure. Awesome. Jared, it's really nice talking to you. I hope to see you Saturday at 10:30. If anything changes, you got my number. Give me a call.
What do you do if you're just getting rejected 3, 4, 5 times? What do we want to set the tone for?
So here's another way that might have went. No, I need time. I need time.
We want to set the tone for reconnection, provide value, right? So, Joe, I can't confirm. Don't show up to my house on Saturday. I need time.
Totally get it. How much time do you think you're planning on taking before you start to figure out what the next step is?
I don't know, maybe 2, 3 weeks.
2, 3 weeks. How about this? I won't show up at your house unannounced on Saturday morning with coffee and my listing paperwork. But how about I give you a call in 2 weeks on the dot? I'm going to call you this time on Tuesday, the 3rd, whatever that is. And I'll give you a call, and then we'll just kind of go from there. We'll see what your decision has been so far.
Sure.
All right. So if you can't get the appointment, you have to set the stage for the second conversation.
Would it make sense to drop something in the mailbox before those 2 weeks?
I'm dropping like a bag of popcorn or some cookies or something. Absolutely. That is my best friend. I am going to talk to that person. I'm going to engage with that person more over the next 2 weeks than probably anyone else in my life.
I know people here read these scripts and just say that shit don't work. Pardon my French. But unless you practice these, you're gonna get a rebuttal, right? You're gonna be rejected, and you're gonna have to close a second time. Are you prepared, and do you have enough experience in role playing and talking to ChatGPT to have those conversations and close for a second time, close for a third time? Because sales is sales, and you're not gonna close reading that script and they say, "Yeah, come over to my house and list it." Are you prepared, and do you have the dialogue to close that second time, to actually show value and turn them over to where they might actually meet with you? Because you're not going to close the first time.
Natural salespeople are not always the politest humans, are they? But one thing natural salespeople do really well that they don't realize they're doing all the time is, well, connect, but that regular people could do that too. They will keep closing, but it's not pushy. The guy at the car sales is not, they aren't natural salespeople. Then that's not what that is. But they will, when can we get together? Is today around 5 o'clock good? Oh no, I need some time to decompress. Absolutely. and then they get to talking about what your weekend is. Oh, well, my kids play soccer too. That's awesome. What field? Maybe we'll be at oh no, different field. Listen, how about I got this great thing my kids do, this training program. I could print it out. How about I drop it? They're just being
Yeah.
human, but they're actually closing for that appointment over and over and over again until they get the yes. And not all of us are going to be able to do that. That's why we have to practice.
And if we stress having conversations, right? And can everyone agree? If you have more conversations about real estate with people, the more business you'll get. Is that a consensus across the room? So why are we not practicing conversations? That should be, frankly, your priority right now. It is practicing conversations and knowing what to say in certain situations. And being that human being that's gonna close the second, third time. And again, not really closing like,
Yeah.
give me your business,
Obviously, yeah.
but finding connections, finding similarities and having conversations. Are we prepared to have those conversations? And I would say the answer is so, maybe a little bit. Let's improve that.
So how do you get there? How do you get those conversations going? It's going to be questions. Questions are always the best place to do that. So if you get them on the phone or even in person, and they seem at least like they're not about to hang up or slam the door in your face, if you did sell your house, where were you planning on going? People like to talk about what their future is going to be more than what happened, right? Not selling my house and dealing with that and over the holidays, and I didn't even put up a tree because we were afraid of showings or whatever. That's not pleasant to talk about. Where would you have gone? Oh, I'm out of New York. We're heading to Idaho. I became Amish and I'm going to start a potato farm. That's exciting for them to talk about. And you want to refocus them on what their goal was, what their plan was, because that's still very real. What is your time frame to be moved? We really wanted to be out by the end of the year for tax reasons. Now I'm gonna have to pay these taxes anyway, and whatever. I probably could stay here the rest of the year and then just do this for next winter. Now, is that good information? All right. Well, if you want to make sure you're out of here by the end of the year, look, forget what happened, how long it took you last time. Just in a normal market, you would want to expect about 4 months to sell a house. So we really should start about 6 months earlier. So I would say somewhere in June or even July would be a good time to get your house listed. And then you'll be out by probably fall, but maybe early winter. Would that timeline make sense to you now? You just moved the goalpost from sometime at the end of the year to sometime mid-year. Well, it's already almost February. That's not that far away. I was just thinking though, if we were going to list in like late June or early July, I don't know if you realize this is America's 250th anniversary. So there's going to be a lot of like people are going to be taken off. There's going to be a lot of activities at that time of the year. I would actually think we should come in right after Memorial Day. That first weekend in June, that's when we should get it listed. Yeah, all right. So if we did that, we should probably have the photos done like mid-May. I think that's so. Why don't I do this? Why don't you put this information right now? You get them working for you. Why do you think your house didn't sell? My agent showed up drunk all the time. They were awful. Maybe a lot of times, Stan, it's a 200-year-old house. We had some offers, they just wouldn't stick. They didn't understand that tree trunks are a proper support for it, right? It might be more things like that. How did you pick your last agent? He gave me the highest price. How'd that work? One thing I'll tell you, whether you hire me or somebody else, you want to hire somebody who knows how to do the marketing of your property. You mentioned that one of the things that kept your house from selling is people didn't understand that these older homes were built different and they're just different. Like if you buy an old house, you are going to deal with some of the things that are really specific to old houses. What you want to do is make sure you get an agent who understands how to market historic homes to people who want to buy historic homes. It's hard to find someone who wants to buy a new construction and put them in a 200-year-old house. But if you have somebody who wants to buy a 200-year-old house, there's one to choose from. That's the kind of marketing you should be doing. By the way, I'd love to tell you how I do that with my internet, right? Because you could boost your posts more specific than just people who are thinking about buying. You could do it. People interested in architecture, people interested in this old house or whatever else might make sense. Has anyone told you why they thought your house didn't sell? What is the primary? Did you know the primary reason houses don't sell is lack of exposure? Did you know that by raising your house, the listing price of your house when you relist increases the chances it sells? What? Oh, let's get together. I'd like to see where you fall in that. You get the point. When somebody calls you up, hey Sal, I'm thinking of selling my house. Can you tell me how that works? How do you explain the two-step listing process to that person?
Gotta go over there, do an evaluation of the home, see what's going on.
I'm going to take a look at the house, get an evaluation of it. Then I'm going to go back to my office. I'm going to spend like 3-4 hours of time coming up with a pricing plan. Do we want to make it sound that? So when they're calling you, they want that, right? When we're calling them, do we want to make it sound like it's a big, complicated to do? Hey, when can I come by for like 10 minutes, show you this stuff? Take like 10 minutes. I'll cut out all the fluff. You've been through it before. You already listed. I'll just come by. I'll show you what we can do. Right? Make it seem like it's going to be no big deal. Anybody here familiar with Rocket Mortgage or Quicken? Same thing. Cameron, you may have heard this. Most of their sales, or at least at one time, was what was called trigger leads. Trigger leads are somebody had their credit run by a mortgage company. The credit bureau sell your name and phone number now to any other mortgage company willing to pay about $35 a pop at that time for that lead. Quicken would get it. They have this huge call center up near Detroit. They hire everybody from, I think it's University of Michigan, who graduates with a business degree and goes, oh, what am I supposed to do with a business manager degree? Mortgage sales. They don't pay you a lot of money. So that, but it's a call center. So the minute that trigger lead comes in, they are the first person to call you. You answer the phone. Hi, this is Joe. Hey, this is Rob. It's always like Trip from, Rocket Mortgage. And hey, just want to ask you a few questions. I'll be able to give you a rate. Okay. Because I'm already working with somebody else, maybe Cameron, who went through this process with me. So they want to make it seem really easy to give you a rate quote. Yeah, we could beat it. We beat everybody. Look, what's it hurt? A couple of minutes. Okay. What's your name? What's your phone number? What's this? What's that? Next thing you know, and I've been through this, it's like 45 minutes. I'm on the phone with this person. What's happening in those 45 minutes? The building report, kinda. They're making it take a long time because they know all the other mortgage companies take about 5 minutes to start making the calls. So my phone is ringing the entire time I'm talking to Trick from Quicken. About an hour into it, he gives me a rate and sends me over the full application that they took from me verbally and a link to upload the documents. Oh, we could give you 5.5. Oh, that sounds good. That was less than where I was getting at 5.75. I'll go with Trick. Next phone that rings is somebody from Atlantic Mortgage. What do I tell Atlantic? I'm already working with Quicken. I'm not interested in talking to you. Please take me off your list. Why? I just hid from my boss in the supply closet doing this phone call that I thought was going to be 5 minutes, but it was really an hour. I can't do that again. I can't do it again. Now, did they start out by telling me I'm going to be on the phone with you for an hour?
Yeah.
What would I have said? Now's not a good time. Let me get back to you. Hey, when can I meet with you for like 10 minutes and give you all this information we're talking about? Can you be in and out in 10 minutes? Yeah, the guy might tell me, get out or I'm calling the cops. I'm going to be out really quick. Otherwise, it's going to take however long it takes. If they schedule 10 minutes with you and it's a nice conversation, they're not going to be pushing out after 10 minutes. If they say, I need to go, I didn't realize this was going to take so long, you do it.
Want to talk about it.
They're not afraid of talking to you. They're afraid of meeting with you.
Once you're there.
So if they seem frustrated, I'm getting a lot of calls. It's funny, right? Your house probably wasn't getting shown all that much, and now every agent in the MLS wants to talk to you and meet with you. It's funny, like now all of a sudden now you're so interesting. Yeah, what is that? Anyway, here's some other questions to try to keep the conversation going and set the stage. Are you planning on taking your home off the market? Do you no longer want to move? Well, I do, but I just don't think I can right now. Have you been getting a lot of calls? Yeah, it's crazy. Everybody all of a sudden. There are about 30,000 agents in our MLS. Do you think you got that many phone calls? No, I got like 15 calls. Only 15 out of 30,000 agents. Anyway, right? Settle a little down. I bet you're wondering why these agents didn't show you home while it was for sale. I totally understand, right? That's the stuff that's bothering them right now, so address it. All right, coming up a couple weeks, about 3 weeks, wine and cheese mixer here in the office is going to be February 11th at 5:30, right here in the office. New York Metro Broker Council is May 5th from 6 to 10 p.m. at Terrace on the Park. We're finally going to like a real place, so we'd like to get people to come. Put it in the calendar. Is this the one? I thought it was the other one. The other terrace. I know there's two and I get them confused. It's the tower.
It's tower.
Mark, you ever been there? I went there for a Lend America party. Lend America was Michael Ashley. He ended up going to jail and got a presidential pardon. No, his father went to jail and got a presidential pardon from Trump the first time. He's banned from doing any business with the government ever, Michael. But they had a crazy party, and that place actually moves when everyone starts dancing. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
you got any calendar?
What time?
6 p.m. Meet here at like 4:35, something like that, and we'll go. More details to follow, but make sure it's in the calendar.
So I reached out to Cameron for a client of mine, and we were talking about a bridge loan because he wants to sell something, he needs to buy it. So want to talk about that program a little bit?
Yeah.
And he has flyers on that program right over there. And it's kind of unique, Cameron, because I reached out, I told him to call Cameron, and you never know if they're gonna call someone, and he called Cameron right away.
Yeah, I'm actually meeting with them. They're coming into my office Thursday.
Oh, nice.
So hopefully we get the ball rolling. So I'm Cameron, Cross Country Mortgage. For you don't know me, I've met most of you guys before. So like Jared said, a lot of right now is kind of figuring out ways to make things easier for buyers and sellers, more attractive, offer them solutions for their problems. One of the biggest issues as a seller is that they have to navigate selling their house and then they want to buy something else. And in most of those cases, they want to use the equity in their home to purchase that new property. So now you have to juggle listing your house in a competitive market, which you could probably sell your house in one weekend. But now you have to secure another property, get everything lined up with contracts on the new purchase, and you have to get your offer accepted. You might have 10 offers in before you get that offer accepted, which obviously now can cause issues if you're already under contract to sell your house. So Cross Country offers something known as a bridge loan, which basically allows sellers that are now buyers to use the equity in their current home before that sale closes to purchase the property. So they basically say they have $300,000 of equity in their current home. They can now take a $200,000 loan from Cross Country. It's a 3 or 4 month loan, and they could close on the purchase, still be the owner of their house that they're selling. Someone could come in, get that under contract over those 3-4 months, close on that. Once that sale closes, you pay off your existing mortgage and the bridge loan, and you now have the new house as if nothing happened. That bridge loan, we actually just for the new year did drop our interest rates. They were originally around 9.25%. They're down to 8.5. Over that 3-4 months, it really amounts to say $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 in the grand scheme of things for 100, 200, depends on how much money they're actually borrowing. So that peace of mind, just like Joe was saying, buying that small house in Amityville ended up actually costing that guy the equity in the long term, maybe his sanity, his family's dynamic, whatever it is. This bridge loan, even though it might cost a seller or a buyer an extra $5,000, $6,000 on the back end, it alleviated a lot of stress because they were able to put offers in, not contingent on the sale of their home. It also allowed them to navigate the move a little easier. They still own their house. They were able to get moving trucks there, took a couple weeks to get everything out, paint the new place, navigate that move a lot easier. So there's a lot of different reasons for it, but that extra cost, you can sell them on the idea it's going to give you a lot more peace. And in terms of offers, you're going to be a more attractive offer in the market. Because a lot of sellers right now do not want the risk of, hey, I have to still sell my house and find a buyer. God forbid your deal falls apart. Now it becomes their problem. So in a very competitive market, we're going to see it in Nassau County even more so this year. They're projecting Long Island to be one of the top housing markets, you really do want to have things like the bridge loan in your back pocket where you can now pitch that to buyers and sellers and kind of stand out, because a lot of other agents don't even know about this. They don't tell their buyers and sellers. And then I talk to buyers and sellers like Jared said, and I tell them, and they're like, oh my God, this is a lifesaver. It completely changes things. And a real life example, I actually just did this with the other Sal from the office. He's not here today. I just had his clients, they were shopping in Farmingdale. It was like a year and a half. So they lived in Farmingdale. They were dead set on staying in Farmingdale. They shopped for a year and a half. They applied for the bridge loan. Ultimately, contracts worked out that they did not need the bridge loan. They were going to close on their sale first. We withdrew the bridge loan application. There was no fees involved. They didn't pay $1. They didn't have to pay the interest on it. And their original offer was non-contingent on their sale. So it worked out perfect that they didn't even need the bridge loan, didn't have to pay any extra money, and had all of those advantages in their back pocket as well. So it really does help you stand out, and it really does. Again, it might get you a listing just because you have that in your back pocket. So just kind of going off of that, like I mentioned, bridge loan rates, they did drop this year at the beginning of the new year. So they're around 8.5% for general mortgage rates right now. They ended the year around 6.25%. As of today, they're just over 6%. Trump did announce at the beginning of the year that they are going to buy mortgage-backed securities, which are basically when they package your mortgage up and sell it to Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac on the back end, investors buy those up. So they are, well, Trump is now saying, hey, we're going to buy more, which does push rates down. So rates dropped after that announcement around of 0.25% in one day. Now kind of forward looking, Jerome Powell, the Fed chair, is in office till around May. Trump did subpoena him and the Fed over renovations. He's been after Jerome Powell for his entire term. So most people are projecting that Jerome Powell is now going to hold interest rates steady until the end of his office, which is, again, right around springtime. And then Trump's going to elect someone new. And the idea is that by this summer, we should see rates come down pretty dramatically, or at least that's the kind of estimate. So put that in your back pocket, going into kind of one of the top markets in the year of the entire country this year, and rates should be coming down. So it should be very, very busy, a lot of opportunities, which is good.
How is that bridge loan paid?
So the bridge loan itself is just paid through the proceeds. So there's no payments collected during the term of the loan. So during those 4 months, we don't collect any payments. It's, again, once the house is sold, they pay off the bridge loan with the proceeds from that sale, and they pay off if there was any existing lien or mortgage on the house as well.
Is there any maximum to the bridge loan?
So in terms of amount, the maximum loan amount, I believe it's 400 or 500,000. I could confirm. Most people, they usually just opt for whatever they need to kind of get the sale done. And in terms of the payments, again, it's just based, I can usually work up 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 round numbers. And if they need anything kind of in between, it's just going to vary.
How does it affect their approval for a mortgage on the new house?
So in terms of how it works out, basically, as long as they have a commitment from their existing buyer, we basically know, all right, they have a buyer lined up, they're approved for their mortgage. We don't need to count that into their debt to income ratio. If they are someone that does not plan on listing their home until it's all said and done, and they want to use those 3-4 months to now list the home and so forth, we do have to hit them for that carrying cost of that house. So they would need to be a little more qualified. So we would have that conversation initially. Most people that go for the bridge loan, they list their house right out the gate, and they're usually under contract and get everything out of the way pretty early.
Oh, so it's pretty.
Yeah, and I can send you more information afterwards. We have a lot of flyers that you can hand out, things of that nature that are all useful for marketing. Anybody else have questions about the market, bridge loans, programs that they've heard of recently? No?
Thanks, Cam.
Yeah, no
Thank
problem.
you.
Thank you guys.
Cheers.
All right, everyone. Well, you know where to find us. You should know where to find Cameron. We'll get his information out too. But that is a valuable tool. Have a good week.
Well, look.